tell a lot about someone by what they post on their social media accounts. If somebody's into art, they might post their work on Instagram. Somebody into video games might post walkthroughs on YouTube. But social media can also reveal the uglier sides of society. We see it every day in cyberbullying and even celebrities openly feuding on Twitter or Instagram Live. But sometimes just one post can show us how awful someone truly is. Tristyn Bailey vanished from her home in St. Johns County, Florida in the early hours of May 9th, 2021. Her community was horrified by Tristyn's sudden, unexplained disappearance and came together to try and find the missing teen. But it wasn't just her disappearance that turned Tristyn from a local story to front page news worldwide. What made this story big was the behavior of the boy that would later be arrested for her killing, and the Snapchat story that would show a whole nation just how twisted he truly is. Let's dive in. Tristyn Bailey was a 7th grade student at Patriot Oaks Academy and a passionate member of the cheerleading squad. Although there are only a few posts on her Instagram account, it's obvious that cheer and her friends were her life. She had a beautiful smile, and from what we can gather from reports, she was sweet, kind, and loved deeply by everyone in her life. May 9th was Mother's Day, but when the Bailey family woke up that Sunday morning, Tristyn wasn't in her bed or anywhere in the house. The last time they saw her was the night before, just after midnight, and they had no idea it would be the last time they'd see Tristyn alive. At 1:14 a.m., a surveillance camera recorded Tristyn walking past North Durman Amenity Center, but she wasn't alone. The recording showed Tristyn walking with a male figure, and that person was seen on the same camera walking in the opposite direction at 3:27 a.m. Tristyn wasn't with the male this time. You may be wondering what Tristyn was doing outside at that time of night, and the answer is that no one really knows yet except for the police. Because this case is so new, a lot of the details haven't been released to the media, and we may not get the full picture until later on if the case goes to trial. Many have speculated that she snuck out of the house to meet the boy she was seen walking with, so he was probably someone she knew and didn't know he wanted to harm her, which we now know he did. Just later that day, Tristyn's remains were discovered by a local man who is assisting in a search for Tristyn organized by the local community. The man was searching a wooded area close to his property when he found Tristyn near a retention pond. The news of her discovery was released 2 days later in a statement by the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office with even more disturbing details. It has now been determined by Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Predrag Bulik that the cause of death is sharp force trauma by stabbing. The manner of death is homicide. So many of the stories we've covered on this channel feature tales of incompetent police work and messy investigations. So it's great to see that Tristyn's disappearance was taken seriously enough that they were able to find her so quickly, even though they were too late to save her. So that just leaves us with 2 key questions. Who did this? And why? Well, we may already have the answer to that first one.
We actually have arrested a suspect by the name of Aiden Fucci.
Reports state that Aiden and Tristyn went to the same school, and some of their classmates have come forward and stated that the two were apparently friends. This hasn't been confirmed by authorities yet, but it is something to keep in mind. It isn't clear yet what led the police to Aiden, but a section of the arrest report that's been released to media implies that it was due to the surveillance footage from the night Tristyn died. In the report, it describes the suspect wearing shorts, a light sweatshirt, and white Nike trainers with the signature black Nike logo. As they left the scene, the suspect was carrying his shoes in his hand. It could be that Aiden was positively identified from his appearance in the footage alone, or someone tipped off the police about him. Either way, a search warrant allowed the authorities to search Aiden's home, where they discovered those same clothes hidden in Aiden's bedroom. Reportedly, they were covered in blood. But it was what Aiden did as the police searched his house that made this case so famous around the world. From inside the police cruiser, Aiden took a selfie of him throwing up a peace sign with the caption, "Hey guys, has anybody seen Tristyn lately?" After he was taken into custody, this image went viral online and brought not only attention but speculation to the case. Many people wondered how he'd been allowed to have access to his phone while the house was being searched. According to journalists reporting on the case, Aiden still had access to his phone because he hadn't been arrested yet and was just a person of interest. However, his social media activity did play a part in his arrest. The snap was met with massive backlash. Many saw this as Aiden bragging about his crime, while others saw it as an attempt on his part to try and make himself look better by pretending he didn't know what was going on. Allegedly, someone even responded to his snap saying Aiden knew where Tristyn was because he was with her. No doubt we'll hear even more about this as the case progresses. Because this case blew up so quickly, it attracted a lot of trolls and rumors. Many speculated that Aiden had violated Tristyn, but this was declared false after her cause of death was released. Worst of all, people have taken to social media to torment Tristyn's family and make sick jokes about her death, even going as far to suggest innocent people were involved. A teenage boy from Nashville who hadn't even heard of the case suddenly started seeing his own photos being reposted, saying he was responsible for Tristyn's death. In a statement, the teen's dad said at one point they were receiving death threats. "We all are scared for our safety. As a matter of fact, we're moving on account of this." It gets worse. Someone started the hashtag Free Aiden, and a bunch of accounts started tagging Tristyn's family in their horrible posts, saying Aiden deserved to be free, even going as far to say that Tristyn deserved what happened to her. Sheriff Rob Hardwick, who is actively participating in the case, has said he and the detectives are aware of the troll accounts doing this, and they are working on potentially having the users charged with cyber harassment crimes. After he was arrested, Aiden was charged with second-degree homicide. But what does that mean exactly? Well, first degree is when someone kills another person and plans it out beforehand. Second-degree homicide is when someone intends to kill another person, but they didn't plan to do it beforehand. Ex-police officer Derek Chauvin was famously found guilty of second-degree homicide and manslaughter for causing the death of George Floyd back in May 2020. For Aiden, this could mean a number of things. In Florida, where the crime took place, Aiden could expect to receive a sentence of 10 years minimum behind bars. This is assuming he's never been in trouble with the law before. However, these are the guidelines for an adult found guilty of this crime, and there's been no news yet whether Aiden will be tried as an adult. If he's tried as a juvenile, Aiden may only have to serve up to 15 years in prison, with a possible fine of up to $10,000. I get that these rules exist for juvenile criminals, but it doesn't seem like a lot when you consider he took someone's life. Currently, he's being held in a juvenile correctional facility while the investigation is ongoing. Many outraged members of the community are calling for Aiden to be tried as an adult and for his charge to be increased to first-degree homicide. This would make him eligible for life in prison without the possibility of parole or even capital punishment. At his first court appearance, which was held via Zoom, Aiden had tears in his eyes as he was told he'd have to remain behind bars for at least 21 days as the investigation continues. This was met with little sympathy from the public. On the other side of this case, there has been outpouring support towards Tristyn's family and friends. A fundraiser was started by a family friend so they could pay for Tristyn's memorial and help her family through this time. The target of the GoFundMe was $20,000. And it has already been made more than double than that. In the days following Tristyn's passing, several vigils have been held in memory of the teen. Hundreds gathered at the last place Tristyn was seen alive, holding candles and laying down bunches of flowers tied together with aqua-colored ribbons. Aqua was her favorite color and has kind of become a symbol of remembrance for Tristyn. At this time, Tristyn's family has asked for the media and supporters to kindly respect their privacy as they mourn Tristyn. However, her sister did make a public post on Facebook thanking everyone for all they've done. The gifts, prayers, thoughts, messages, donations, hugs, and memories shared have been overwhelming. We cannot believe the boundless outcry of support for Tristyn and our family. As the investigation continues, I can only hope that Tristyn's family gets the answers they deserve.